Good morning. How are you this morning? I'm sitting here waiting to see little faces pop up um, on my Facebook Live screen. I'm seeing another part of my room, and I'm looking forward to being with you this morning. And I love you. So here we go. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So my topic today, I decided to wear my wild hair, my garden shirt, in front of my dream catcher for all of us, and I have my topic today is reality and friendship. So I want to start by reading from an incredible book called The Synchronic Lines. It is by Falco Tarasco, an amazing community in northern Italy that deals with the border between the physical and non-physical worlds, takes care of that border in an ingenious, magical, and deeply appreciated way. And one of the ways they take care of that border is they deal in alchemy. Oh, we're not supposed to use that word, are we? And they deal in magic. Not that word, ever. And they deal with divinities, a little bit more acceptable, but somehow a strong feeling that those things are not related. How crazy can humanity truly be? So I've been involved with them for quite some time. They're not a cult. I am not their devotee. I am so aligned with their mission. I am so aligned. And the field of Tantra Mat is so real in that mission. And that mission is basically humanity awakening in our physical form, in our everyday life, in our humanity with each other. And I just went through this 4-day process, not a process that I went to school or a seminar that I paid for. I'm talking about an internal process. And you all are going to get me today. You're going to get me today. You always get me, but I'm trying to get past this edge, and I'm trying to get this feeling of just being a human being sharing. I've been a teacher for over half a century. I know a lot, but I don't want you to have my wisdom. I want us to hang out together. I want us to hang out together and share and be and just be alive with each other. Just let it hang, as we would say in Tennessee. And I have dealt in the upper echelons of spirituality for half a century. I've been the psychic to a guru's ladies in waiting, so to speak, in Fallsburg, Virginia. I have walked with gurus. I have walked with transformational technology. I have walked with divinities. I have walked with shamans, one of the students of Carlos Castaneda. I mean, I got a rap sheet that is full of experience, full of esoteric learning, full of technical know-how in the LOC Institute, that finally I'm free of my mission, so Electra and I can build it. I'm so excited I can hardly stand it. And but all my projects are supporting others now. I had a specific mission. If you ever want to know, ask me. You can ask me on our group, and I'll be glad to share it with you. It was a great mission. I accomplished it. I accomplished my part in it. It's part of a greater mission that's ongoing, that I'm now get to participate in as a fairly knowledgeable, wise elder who is excited about knowing that humanity is on an edge, that a huge quantum level of humanity will step over. So all of you, I see you coming on, just experience me saying, I love you, I adore you, I'm so glad you're here, okay? Or else I would be using up our time together to say that, so just include it. So I want you to know there's really bad stuff going on. And there's really great stuff going on. Great stuff going on. And I'm just determined, and Electra and I in the LOC Institute, I'm just determined to, and also in the World of Unity calls and the 2 Facebook, 1 group and 1 page I have, I just want to be on the future. I want to have us be the future before it gets here, because the future is always coming. Write this down, or put it in my chat, put it in my comments somewhere, or somebody. The future is always coming. The question is, will we be there in that future? I'm going to say that again. The future is always coming, but will we be there in that future? So you could say I came from the future. Probably that's really, really true, because I see the future. I knew the future when I was born here. I knew the future for this point in time and space, this landscape you and I live in as human beings right now. But I wanted to populate that future. There's probably another future too. It's not one that I seek to populate or I'm even interested in any manner. And that is in the tenets of the field of Tantramat. There is a reality of unity where we're separated from, there's a reality of separation where we're separated from ourselves, we're separated from each other, and we're separated from the greater whole of which we're part. In realities of unity, which we're in the process of restoring in the human system, and some of us have sort of got slung over and landed on the other shore and can't get back over the river. No, that's not exactly right, Liz. The future is here. The future already exists. The point is, will we be part of that future? Not for that future, but with that future. With that future now. That's the question. Because the way you wrote it, it's like there's this objective thing that we're building. And we're not building an objective thing. I'm already living it. Just because it isn't the popular vote right now, just because we're in the gradients of the unfolding of that future, doesn't mean it's not real. So it's not out there somewhere. It already exists. And I think a lot of us came back for these times because we want to populate that future. Maybe there wasn't enough of us there. And that future carries certain kinds of realities, and those realities exist as what connects us to life and has us exist as whole. Those futures now building in the now, building their presence in the now. I'm going to get this till we all get this on the call. Just keep writing, Liz, and I'll keep correcting you, and then eventually the resonance of between worlds will become present. In these types of realities that the future is reaching into the now. Remember, time is not linear. There is not past, present, future. It is gradients of existence. And to populate those gradients of existence, literally have something become in the physical world sooner than later. But in the etheric territory, it's already so. How are you going to explain transcendent experiences or people dying of cancer and have these epiphanies of oneness with all life, or people in severe trauma, collective traumas, coming out of it smiling? How do you explain that? Well, it's because the future lives in your cellular memory. It's either the memory of recall of this historic patterns of this life, or the memory of the recall of your eternal self. Ravon Tantra. So in these realities are shaped by certain formulations of consciousness, and those not human consciousness, how creation works consciousness. Do you really think creation would work if it was separate from itself? It's only a temporary timeline. You can only be separate so long before you have to come back into the coherent pattern. I mean, I don't know. I have so many memories. I mean, I remember walking through walls, and you could only walk through walls in a certain space of time. In other words, you couldn't stay in the wall. or you'd become part of the wall because your physicality would absorb back into the physical gravity that you were standing on, and hence you'd be caught in the wall. So don't try it. Okay, this, what does that say? This is a disclaimer. But there is a reality of unity. There, reality, capital R, not like an object or a thing or a place you can buy a ticket to. It's an energetic field. Okay, very good, Liz. The future already exists in the now. And many of us came here to populate that future during this time. And let me see the rest. Hold on, let me push it. Oh, it's not, let me see. Oh, there it goes. The future, this is good enough, but I want to enhance it. The future exists in our now. Now, can't you feel it? You're from that you're from that structure of time. And that structure of time exists forever. It's like a completeness. It's a wholeness. It's something where a whole bunch of fragmented parts came together and fractalized it to have a dream that human beings carry in this timeline in their head, but it's not in the physical world. And many of us, I think, I'm not putting this on any of you, came here to we wanted more people to play. We wanted more people to come home to themselves, because you can't fail in this one. If you're asking people to come home to themselves, not to a point of view, not to well, I'll talk about that in a minute, but to come home to themselves, come home to their inseparability with themselves, come home to their inseparability with others, come home to their inseparability with life itself, then we are remembering that future that we came here to redream here during this time. So can you imagine it? Imagine being dream keepers, and that we looked out at this great dream that all of us had participated, all of us, it doesn't matter who we are as human beings, have participated in. And we said to ourselves, well, you know, that dream could start back in 2021, not out here in 3000. Let's go dream ourselves back in time. And then we came in, I have to be careful with my words because Facebook is really getting sharp about language. And we dreamed ourselves back in time and got born and went, oh, what? Oh, no. Oh, God. OMG. Whoa. I had no idea. Can you imagine the shock in your system coming back from that place in the quantum field of time and space where it was all whole, complete, fulfilled, and satisfied? Can you imagine the shock coming back here? So it's not like we think, and Liz didn't mean that. It's not like having a mission to save the world. It's the power of remembering that we find ourselves spewing out everywhere, not because we're trying to make ourselves right or others wrong, but because we just can't help ourselves. We just can't help ourselves. That's all that's wrong with Tantra Mad. She just can't help herself. She came without forgetting. She came remembering. And she almost died and almost went insane and almost became an emotional basket case and went out of body till she was 54 years old because the dream couldn't die in her. That's all that happened. That's all that happened to me. That's it. And whatever level you experience in yourself of that, take it on. Take it on, okay? So we didn't have a mission to come here to populate the future. We had a mission because we were in love. And we could see the ghosts. I don't know how to do this well. Imagination moment. We could see those that had been part of our alchemical lineage, part of our etheric natures, had been part of our dreams. And we wanted them back in our dream. We were pretty sure they'd really be happy in that dream. And so we could have, I don't know, we're not, maybe our brain matter isn't capable of everything I'm saying now, but I think I came back because I was in love. I was in love with, at a personal level, because remember I'm trying to do personal, At the personal level, I think it was because I had people that I loved and adored and had beautiful times with, and I didn't like them snatched away from me by being separate from me, separate from themselves, and separate from life. Okay, I think we're getting it, Liz. See how well you can compilate this now. Keep going. You've got to keep going, Liz. We're in alchemical activity, right? Liz and Beryl and Victoria, they have this thing called Curiosity. So we're doing Curiosity right now. It's also on the LOC Institute, at least for now. So we aren't seeding new realities. We're from realities of unity, where everything's part of everything else. Everything operates on behalf of everything else. Everything is always moving to the next greater whole. If you read Ken Wilber's book on holons, then you'll understand what I'm saying. Holons and quadrants. And now we're in remembering. And yeah, I know, it's really gruesome sometimes. It's pretty gruesome because the remembering is cellular. It's a cellular awakening. It's not a personality awakening. Our personalities have been organized by trauma, not by remembrance. And I say that our cellular memory is starting to get remembrance. It's starting to awaken into remembrance. Okay, yes, and that's perfect. We are already holding the memories in our cells from the future. That is spot on, Liz. That one's spot on. We'll see what she does next. Isn't this fun? Okay, so why would I start with this? Hold on. Why would I start with this? Everybody got their tea. Everybody laid back. If it was later, we'd say wine. But for some of you, it could. Yes, Liz, she's getting it. We're all getting it because Liz is our curiosity person, and they work in the imaginative, creative playing field. And doing that, it gets into our cells where logic and rationale and literalness, and the literalness of the way we speak can't get there. We're from realities of unity. Now we're in remembrance at a cellular level of what we came from, where everything is whole and complete. At a cellular level, because I'm pretty sure our local identities are not yet with the program, except every now and then, like right now with Tantra. And all right, so I'm going to read something from this lovely book, The Synchronic Lines. It'd be fun to go on domandher.org and go to their book list and just pick one. It isn't because they're there for wisdom or knowledge. They never had a book for years because it was just Falco and the community. But they are absolutely committed to humanity, whether they ever wrote another book or not. They're absolutely learned the technology of literally being able to shift this planet from separation to unity. They learned how. And you don't have to help them. You don't have to participate. But those of us that do, let me tell you, we're in there. We're by their side. We're not for them. We're not against them. We're by their side. And that's a reality of unity with another in the field. With another in the field. All in our different expressions. All in the different paths we're taking. But we follow the rules of unity, which is we love each other. We care about each other. We don't make anybody wrong. We don't make anybody right. We stay real to ourselves, and we share our path with others, including when we might need to take ourselves away from one another for a temporary period of time. But to objectify things, to make someone wrong so you can be right, to make something wrong so you can be right, so another discipline can be right, nada. Do you understand? Nada. I hope that was clear. Okay, so let me go to my little quote from this. Are we having fun? I need some hearts. Are you having fun yet? Where are my little hearts? I love my little hearts. Okay, maybe I have to do them. I'll probably foul it up if I do that, so we'll have to Hi, everybody that just joined us. You'll probably need to go back to the beginning if you so choose. Now, see, I had this right to it, and now I can't find it. This is so funny. I'm getting there, though. Let me see if I can put this back down. Okay, there we go. Oh, thank you. Oh, I love that. Look at that. Oh, the angels. Oh, my God, the angels are heaven. The angels are heaven. Okay. Don't want to get that. Isn't that wild? It's completely disappeared. And I had it underlined. So, oh, got it. It wasn't underlined. It was like this. Not underlined. Okay. Is everybody ready? Sit down, put on your thinking cap, get your tea. Commit yourself to having a good time. Are we ready? Reality is reality is relative to the subject, to the individual observing it. There is a diversity of points of view precisely arising from every single person. This is subjective reality. If reality were objective, we would all be alike. We would all think in the same way, and we would have the same tastes and points of view. Okay? Thank you, Lori. Thus, reality is always subjective. And since there is no objective reality, there cannot be a fictional reality. This is the third template in the creation exercises. It's the third template. And if you decide to purchase these guidebooks that Electric created magically with me, then you have to get templates 1, 2, and 3. You have to build the gradient field of your consciousness so that you're able to live your reality, not my reality, your reality. Okay, let me read it one more time. Thus reality, always subjective, and since there is no objective reality, there cannot be a fictional reality. Here, okay, I can't go there yet. Okay, but I am KO going to address friendship, and but I'm doing reality right now, but they're very interactive. For example, in a locked, isolated room, half the people present who've been hypnotized see a watch on the table. The others do not see it, which are right. Both are. They all express subjective reality. I have to read the next paragraph, but it goes a little over the top, so I deeply apologize. But you might want to come back to this part. It's page, it's the preface, and it's the page before the last page in the preface. It doesn't have it's 14 in the book. Okay. So, listen to me. Just let yourself be like we're in a wild party and we're all on acid. Oh, I hope that got through Facebook. But it's our acid. It's our alchemy. We're going to play in our alchemy today. And then when this is over, then you can go back to the reality you belong in. You just came to visit mine. And I love having you here. But you don't have to belong to it. You don't have to make somebody wrong to be part of me. And if you do, I will find you in your dreams. It's just a whole other canvas. Do you understand? It's a whole other canvas. Okay, so I'm going to read the last paragraph. It's at the top of the page also, Liz, on page 14. Contrary to the conviction of some scientists who maintain that the movement of matter is not influenced by consciousness, although consciousness is obviously influenced by the movement of matter, Wigner observed that matter is likely to be matter, that's our physical world, our physical life, important, that matter is likely to be influenced by what it influences. Woo-hoo-hoo. Chew on that one. Anyway, I'm not going there. So the point is, I'm inviting you to play in a particular reality. It's a reality where you have preference. Remember we did preference last week or a few weeks ago, somewhere back in time, linear time. You have preference. It doesn't make you right. It doesn't make you wrong. It only makes you have a preference. And for those of you who have a strong stomach, I would recommend Godless on Netflix. I really would. You may have to fast forward through some of the really gnarly scenes. But I live in New Mexico, and Godless was based in New Mexico, and it was lawless here. And the story is about 5 people, at least, with integrity. But for them to keep what they held to be real, they could be killed for it. We just have to deal with our head and our relationships. They could have been killed for it. And I watched it. I loved every minute of it, particularly the main character. And I thought, this cleaned me up. This cleaned me up. He followed his dream, and he was a very bad man in between. But he figured it out, and he figured out, given what he'd done, what he was capable of and what he was not capable of, what futures he didn't want to give people that he loved, and what future he wanted to go back to that he had walked away from. Almost makes me cry to talk about it. But you got to be willing to be a human being here in this world, not the. I promise you what I said in the beginning, my last thing on reality, and then I will jump over into friendship. Look, I've watched humanity, not when I was born. When I was born, people were very unconscious. They were unconscious. But as different modalities began to rise, unfortunately, they rose in the Christian model. The established Christian model, not the Christ model. That's a different model. But the Christian model was that we were sinners, that how we performed, we would go to heaven or hell. It was a dualistic system. It was an either or system. It wasn't a both and system. Realities of unity are gradients of either or. What I mean by that is we're a gradient of good and bad. Or a gradient of right and wrong, to ourselves, not to others. That you got to get out of that. You got to be in your inner kingdom now. Our inner kingdom matters beyond anything. Our relationship with ourselves is fundamental to everything. And the second thing that happened is we were just coming out of a tribal system. And in a tribal system, you belong to the tribe. But look how many people have broken from their tribe. Because it's an evolutionary pattern, to thine own self be true. So now then we have following authorities outside ourselves, which people get in real trouble with me if they try to do that with me. I'm a resource for a conversation that if you can relate to it and it helps you build your own kingdom, I'm game. If you're trying to find something to follow or me to save you, don't go here. It has to do with I belong to a reality. I belong to a world, a realm. I came back here and couldn't forget it. And it wasn't a realm unique to me. It seemed to be a realm that was heavily populated by lots of souls from all over the universe and all over this and in all aspects of this planet. And I found it charming and beautiful and sweet and adorable and cranky and pissy sometimes, but it was just flavorful. Do you understand? It was just so flavorful that we just had to get there. Thanks, Lori. Boy, could I tell a story. Yeah, self adventure. The adventure of one's personal self is magic. It's magic. And this book, remember, is called The Synchronic Lines. And it's about synchronicity, because when you begin to tap yourself, synchronic events occur. The universe comes to your side. It begins to provide magic. If you're isolated in a self that is separate from the world, I don't mean the circumstantial world, separate from life. So it makes it so simple. When you're really down and out, I go out every minute the puppy's outside and play with him a few minutes. And my beautiful, I can't turn around, my beautiful flowers and back in my room, I make sure I have things that keep my memory stabilized in beauty and wonder and magic and joy, particularly as we're moving through a kind of an eye of the needle at this time. And I'm going to be sloppy now. Everything I said up till now, I am stable in. I can articulate it. I can listen. You're listening. I can keep framing it so it helps you to pull out of um, what we call calcification, where you're locked in a mental theory, or you have a mental concept, and that mental concept is driving your life, which leads to friendship. Something happened recently. It was such a great learning curve. At the time, it was a really not great learning. Well, no, it was a great learning curve. It didn't feel great. Let's just put it that way. I knew it was something, everything was moving to the next greater whole. And I knew that the synchronic events that had occurred had pointing to something beyond the circumstances that we found ourselves involved in, or I found myself involved in, speaking personally. But what was, and we'd had this awakening consciousness, because there's this thing happening the first Sunday, I think, of every month, because these greater systems, these greater consciousnesses that come and play with me, they just ask for a space and time, us to give a space and time. So I did something called Setting Up Your Year, which has nothing to do with what you might think. And I did something called Awakening the Collective Consciousness, but it sounds like a mission or intent or a learning, and it isn't. It's a space and time where the greater systems of reality and ourselves, the greater consciousnesses of which we're a part in, our consciousness can blend and play and move and discover and see things rising in our shared conversation, because we're past the edge. We're not reinstating what we said reality would be. We're just working on staying on the edge. So as new realities and new frameworks of consciousness begin to occur, we're in on it. And that's what happened before. What happened before is there wasn't enough communication system. It's why I plan on staying on Facebook and other systems too. You know, I'm all over the place. I think I'm on this thing called Mighty World now, and then I'm going to have a TV show that'll be on YouTube. Yes, we're going to have a TV show. It's called what? Create a World. How's that? But the point is that we're creating a world, not a circumstance. We're creating our world, what we hold to be real, and what the synchronic events begin to happen to evidence that. Okay? So anyway, being in this phenomenon that we were in, several of us were in recently, and having done the first Awakening Our Consciousness, and this is just raw feed, raw sharing, okay? No conclusions. It's like storytelling time where you're not, please do not hold me to be an authority in this endeavor. But it was so amazing before the last Awakening Consciousness call, this presence, it's like somebody help me with words. It's like an essence begins to reveal itself, an essence of the original nature, of the original design of human being. It doesn't come from the mind, mental mind. It doesn't even come from empathy or sentient intelligence. It more appears in the landscape right before the call. And it's that feeling you have where something is so rock solid, so to the point that it shakes your timbers. So if you actually listen to the first part of that call, my timbers were shaken. And I was moving through my personal identity. And then Gail goes, "Stop it, Tantra. Just tell us what you're present to." Because I hadn't been used to having it come through my personal experience. I'm a genius intelligence, for heaven's sakes. I'm used to it coming from this technology of consciousness that I've been building for 45 years with others in the field and with the greater systems of reality of which I'm a part. So I read this thing, and maybe somebody can find it and put it on here. You Google it, somebody. And it's Anam Cara, A-N-A-M, first word, second word, Cara, C-A-R-A. My beloved friend. I couldn't believe it. I come on this call. I'm shaking like a leaf. I think I'm crying. Somebody has to remind me. And I'm saying we cannot do this work without Anam Cara. without being friends, and I have a part 2 to this, but without being friends, without being by each other's side, regardless of what's going on, regardless. And I realized in that moment, like me as an awakening, because see, I came as a mission-based being. I didn't really come for human relationship. I didn't. I really came to fulfill on a mission. And wasn't it wild? Can you imagine? To fulfill on my part of the mission and discover that the opportunity before me was the beauty of being a human being. How cool is that? Makes me cry. Magic. And anybody else looking this up, poor Liz, I probably have her on the hot spot this morning. I also want that quote I sent you all. I may have posted it on Sacred Space for Rest and Courage, but I'd like it in the comments here. It's at the end of the series, Godless. And it talked about the foolishness of human love. How foolish it is, and yet it is human magic. It is the magic of being a human being. There's no way around it. It's what human beings have that no other species, no other life form in this manner has it. And there's this great one-liner that I can't remember right now that says something like, I don't know, we'll see if somebody can find it and post it. But I'll post it afterwards, if I don't do it now. But the point is that I entered the human realm, and I like it here as a personal self. And I loved what we'd all created in my personal sector of the field of Tantra Mat, because I'm not the field of Tantra Mat. I just follow its tenets. I like its tenets. It gives me a magical life. So I plan on following them. But I don't have expectations other people should follow them. Thank you, Kea. It just gives me, I want to read it out loud. And then if somebody can find Anam Cara, I want you to listen to this, because this is friendship. Anam Cara, 'tis a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, to hope, to dream, to be, to be. You see, we chose to come here to live a temporal love. There's an agony in that. And I realize that the magic before us is to transcend the agony and embrace the moments and the memories. And oh, to lose love. A thing for fools, this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me. Your laugh once lifted me. Your word was gift to me. To remember this brings painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing. To love what death has touched. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Anam is a Gaelic word for soul, and Cara is a word for friend. So Anam Cara in the Celtic world was the soul friend. In the early Celtic church, a person who acted as a teacher, companion, or spiritual guide was called an Anam Cara. And since then, it is because they knew they were loved, and they knew they loved the teacher. It was all about love. It was all about love. So then, in this last 3 days, I had a setting up your year with someone, and she was sharing with me about her friend who has had terrible things happen to her, as an incredibly negative view of life. That's her words, not mine. Just sees life as dark and dismal, let's say it that way. And she had tried to save her from herself and save her body, because her body is literally collapsing. And I said, well, it isn't about whether we should save each other or not. Maybe that Jesus completed that. maybe he said, okay, I finished this. Now, no more self-sacrifice. And self-sacrifice isn't hard. It manages what you can and can't do for yourself. It manages what you can and can't do for another. It manages what you can and can't do for reality itself. It's not a judgment. It's a capacity. And we all reach the limit of our capacity. We all reach the limit of our strength. I certainly have since Lily died, and a few other things. We all reach the limit of our stamina. We all do. So it's like a missing element in the human system, in our relationship with others. Two things, two fundamental things, is I realized I was being confronted with something I'd never been confronted with, called friendship, because I came here as a teacher, as a mission. And it was very clear to me, not you, I'm not preaching to you to do what I do, that friendship for me had to live in the tenets, not the participation, but it had to live in the tenets of the field of Tantra Mat, which is about balance, harmony, symmetry, and proportion, and a shared commitment, regardless of how we express it, of restoring the unity of ourselves with the rest of all life, out into the universe, down into the elemental worlds, all life, everywhere, every form, every shape, every manner, to be in unity with all life. And so if someone doesn't take care of my heart, and many, many have, so don't say I'm not taken care of, because I am, dramatically, beautifully so. But I never got it personally. I was glad that I was taken care of so I could get my job done. So it's a very delicate thing for me to even have this conversation. But I also know, I have learned over the years myself, when it's not my business, when someone is moved into their own recursion, their own movement of what they hold life to be, and I need to honor them in that. I need to honor their process. I need to honor what they hold to be real. And I need to honor the spectrum of reality that I participate in. And I need to recognize where they can't come together because I don't have the strength, stamina, and capacity to include something that erodes something beautiful, harmonic, symmetry, proportion, balance. And it's a very simple matter. You know, I used to, I'm still a minister, but I used to do divorce ceremonies. And sometimes it's been a year, one couple we wrote after post-divorce, but they wanted their anamkara. They wanted their soul friend self back. And in that year that they worked it out, they figured out that it wasn't anything they said about why they left each other. It was that they couldn't share space together and keep the integrity of their own heart and their love for each other. Their love for each other. That the differentiation, the differences in their reality tore their love apart. And they discovered, I may have that service because I found all my old stuff. They discovered in their divorce ceremony, it was so emotional, it was so moving, I still cry, that they divorced to preserve their love. That they divorced because they just didn't have the strength, stamina, capacity to survive the differences in this reality. But that they can make choices for their love. When they both married again, and recently one of them was dying, and they shared the ceremony with their new partner. They let their new partner know that their old partner was their love, just not a love that could live in this temporal time. That's also in the movie Godless, by the way. I'm in the series Godless. And the new partner called the old partner, let them know that she was dying. And so they all were there at her death. Now, you can't deny that magic. You can't deny the magic of human love. So I suggested to the person in this setting up your year, call your friend. You clearly are devoted to her. You clearly love her. And let it rip. Tell her you're scared. Tell her you don't know how to be with her. Don't make her the reason. You know that I work that people do? But feel it, for God's sake. Don't let it be, oops, I just did it. Don't let it be a process. Don't let it be something you apply hoping for a result. You have to get in your gut about it. You have to get in your gut about it. You have to declare your incapacity. You have to declare your lack of strength. You have to declare your lack of stamina in the face of what another is going through. Noah sees Kat maybe in the beginning of dying. And I've been engaging with her about it. And finally, yesterday, I said, I'm not going to do this well. I can be with human beings dying so easily. But I am, after Lily's death, I've never been with an animal that died except my dog. And I said, I'm going to do this very poorly, and I deeply apologize. I will do my best. And if you need me to get out of your face because I'm upsetting you, please tell me. If you need me just to hold you, please tell me. And if you don't know anything to say, if I seem distant, it's because I am, because I don't know what to do. Shared field, authenticity, transparency, beauty. Can you hear the magic of love in communicating our frailty, our inabilities, our not yet capables? That's friendship. That's friendship. So you could say that the purpose, oh, don't do that, Tantra, I can't be a teacher. You could say that one of the things I'd like to share in this call, and hopefully perhaps it would be of value to you, is that everything's beautiful about us. Our inabilities, our incapacities, our lack of strength, our lack of stamina, as well as our stamina, our strength, our capacity. It's just that we've made everything so black and white. We don't have any ability. We've lost our ability for the transcendency of life itself, everyday life. The ability to be in the face of what we're in the face of and transcend it through our own gut, through our own heart, through our own authentic speaking. And to know that some things we may never get out of. I doubt if I'm ever going to get over the pain of losing my dog and my child. But I let it birth me. And that's the key. When you're working with no longer being separate from anything, everything births you. Everything gives you life. The pain and the sorrow, the joy, the ecstasy, they're birthing principles. They're birthing principles of not transcending, getting past, or getting over something. It's the birthing principle of that everything is that everything is your authentic experience and your authentic being, everything in unity with you, moving you to the next greater whole. That's your system. That's your cellular system. Remembrance. And you may have a bobblehead personality that makes you wrong, makes others wrong. And if it's strong enough, will take you away from your own heart. That's true. Yeah, beautiful, Rana. We are fragile, mighty, frightened, courageous, and always beautiful beings. We are. And I ain't backing down about it. I'm not. I'm spending about $8,000 to put on a TV show. I think it's once a week. And I don't care. And if you want to come on, let me know, because we're just going to talk. We're going to be, it's sort of like, what is that show on TV with Whoopi Goldberg? I love that show. They're just women hanging out talking about stuff. I don't watch it because I don't have TV. But it's along that vein. It's not framed to teach. It's not going to be framed. It's just going to be hanging in things like talking about education, and the person coming on is going to talk about their heart's desire. This isn't about application. This is not about doing. It's about awakening the creative spirit in all of us, because it's in the dream world that everything is born. It's in our dreams. It's in our imaginations. The modern Western world goes straight to action, straight to application. But if you're not sturdy in just enjoying the dream, and I know what it's like. I mean, I almost lost my mind, my mental mind. I almost lost my physicalness after Lily died. It turns out my lungs went crap, and I didn't even realize I might be killing my organs because of lack of breath. Oh, Jesus, a little ignorance on my part, but synchronicity and people caring about me had it all start to turn out. So I understand the trials, but is that what you really want me to talk about? Do you want me to reinforce your trauma? Do you want me to reinforce how bad the world is or how bad somebody is? I don't think so. I don't think so. But I will tell you, if you want to be my friend, my Anamkara, then you need to be in the tenets of the field of Tantra Mat. Now, I'm really serious about this. You're not my friend if you're not. It's just that means you're really close to me, that you share the intimacy of my life. You share the intimacy of my heart. That's what you do. Sorry, somebody popped in on WhatsApp and the whole screen went. But it's only where I'm standing. Do you understand? We can be friends here. We can be friends in this short period of time. You can be friend to a beggar on the street. You can be friend to the Pope. Friendship deals with commitment. And you have to figure out your commitments. I suggest everyone is your Anamkara. Everyone is your beloved friend. And then you look at your strength, stamina, capacity to be by their side. And unfortunately, or fortunate, I shouldn't say that. See, I just went down the wrong rabbit hole. I apologize. In the present reality, it is relatively hard, up until recently perhaps, to be by my side. Because it's very hard to be by the side of someone who's mission-oriented, ask Georgia Dow, because they don't take you into consideration. They aren't forming friendships. They're busy about what they came here to provide. That's everybody. That's not just me. That's any leader. That's anyone even you, if you become a leader. You have to discern between your mission. So long time ago, I said, everybody is my client first. Everybody is who I came to serve first. And then if I have the opportunity for intimate friendship inside of that, that's a gift, not a promise. And turns out my kids are my best friends. And I have best friends that have seen the worst of me, the most fragile of me, the most broken of me. And they have only sadness when I'm down. They have helplessness when they can't help me. They have doing their best, just like I do for them. So that's my talk today. That's our boundary marker, the restoration of human love. In the creation exercises, you do craving love creates, craving being love creates being, craving what love is for me is, craving what being love is for me is being, the first 4. There's 3 after that. So those of you who do creation exercises, it would be great for you to be able to just do this, because the word itself doesn't hold your template. It's only till you language what love is for you, or what you crave love to create, that love finds a place for you in its field. Love already exists. It's like the future in the now. Love already exists. It's an etheric territory. It's a magical realm. It's a magical realm that we draw from to bring into the physical world. Honest. It isn't part of your biology. It isn't part of your concepts. It's an actual place. It's just not a physical place. It's a non-physical place. It also is a non-physical substance, place, domain, realm, landscape that weaves into every cell of your body. It has a biological component. It's called the Tantra, or the Tantric. It's where love is where so above, so below unites. It's why the greatest quality a human being can ever grant themselves personally is to love in the moment with no conditioning. Ooh, rough one. Know what you need from the other person. And then secondary, just like that beautiful couple. Then secondary, in the physical world, do we meet each other's needs? Do we have a place where we can grow together? But it's love no matter what. There is no not love. That was a aberrated invention of the human mental conceptual mind. There is no not love. It's only how it equates in time, and only how it equates in strength, stamina, capacity. Imagine if we were in a world where people didn't talk about other people the way they do. Imagine if we were in a world where we said, I just didn't have the strength, stamina, capacity to be there. They just didn't have the strength, stamina, capacity to be with me. Not wrong or right. It's like a fact. It's like a truth. How do you know it? Because they're not there. Or you're not there. And there's probably no other answer. But we have friends that are struggling. We are too, by the way. I'm not leaving us out of the equation. But in that friendship model, just to be in that conversation, it is, there has to be a way now to figure out how for the other person to know your heart is always with them. And they know that. They know it etherically. They know it vibrationally. That if you left them and never came back. I have talked to a Dade the other day, and we were laughing because I don't think we've talked in maybe 3 years. But we were laughing because I carry your heart in my heart. Somebody wanted to look up the E.E. Cummings poem, I carry your heart in my heart. Thank you. And post it here. And but I carry my heart in your heart, and I can't always be with you. But imagine you saying that. Imagine you saying that. Because then it's all about time. It's not about our shared heart. It's all about strength, stamina, capacity. It's not about someone's wrong and we're right. That's our edge. That's the edge humanity's on right now. I gotta tell you, I'm working with some people in the GOD matrix, that thing. I may put it back up. I've had people ask me to put it back up, but I'm not ready yet. This is a group of 12 people who kind of bought in other words, invested in me, invested in what I'm doing. And, but I'm always on call for them. And it's just been magic. Sarah's one of them. It's just in Electra, it's just been magic to do this. Magic. Magic. Because what's so fascinating is I didn't know where we come in this year, but there is these conversations out there about nope, we're not going to make anything right or wrong. We're just going to see how we can blend the differences, how we can begin to mix the colors so they don't go, what is it? Liz, you're a color person. So it doesn't go brown, I think. So it doesn't go drab, and you lose the magnificence of mixing the colors right so that the colors, thank you, Praline, so that the colors are still there, but they're blended into a new color. I have people doing that now. I mean, it's just so magical. It's so magical. So magical. And I know how hard it is. The mental mind has shaped itself to right, wrong, good, bad. You're fighting your mental mind. You're not fighting human beings. So it would be valuable for you to be in the wonder of your own heart. To be frail and courageous. I love that. Frail and mighty. To be chicken-esque and courageous. But what if you could promise yourself for 1 hour a day, start with 10 minutes, that you just weren't going to make yourself wrong. The thoughts might make you wrong. The mental chatter might make you wrong. But your I isn't your mental mind, for God's sake. Hope I made it past that one. It isn't. You live in what you hold to be real, regardless of evidence. And if friendship is important to you, cultivate it within yourself, what you want it to be. Create your template. And then try it out. Start working with your template, whatever your template is. I get to now have personal friendship. And there are a lot of people on this call that might have thought that friendship was part of our relationship, but honest to God, it could have been. I just wasn't present at the party. I have to now get present at the party of personal friendship. It's just amazing. It's so amazing because C, who is my housemate, C and I haven't seen each other in, over 12 years. But way back in the beginning, we were all starting out in our tracks a long time ago. My daughter's 38. She was the first one born in our community. So that's 40 years ago. But it was so easy to say to her, you want to come live with me? And I hadn't seen her in 12 years. Because even not seeing each other, when we'd touch in, when we'd be associated for a moment, we could tell that we were following the same stream of wonder and delight and consciousness. It is the power of a human being to discern their own reality, to discern their own territory, to discern their own landscape. It isn't to be under one roof. Jesus said, my Father's house has many rooms. I think he said many mansions. We could find that quote too. So it isn't, we can't in the physical world be friends with everyone because we're developing physical territories within which new realities can rise. So you probably do want to hone in on designing your landscape of friendship, not making anybody wrong, but just what gives you strength, stamina, capacity, right? To keep experiencing the beauty of your own world. How's that? How'd I do? I did my best. I think there's probably a lot I didn't cover, but I'm new. I'm new in this. I'm in discovery. I know I'm in the discovery. I'm also a real bee if anybody hurts someone I love. I am not user-friendly. I will warn you. So if anybody's going to hurt someone I love, you need to come tell me you're going to hurt them and apologize. because you have to, because it will probably hurt what you have to say to them. Then I'll be good. But if you hurt them without even understanding that you're going to cause pain, don't get near me. That's just plain stupid. Callous. Thanks. Okay. I can't think of anything else to say. I want to I'm loving the comments. So if I'm just going to sit here and people that are looking at this later, you can just click off now. What I'd love to do is just feel you all write some comments. Anything you want to write, I'll do. Just anything to populate our shared experience and be together before we close this hour. I might have gone over a bit. I couldn't tell. Beautiful. I want to see if I can pull this. Oh, I can. That's beautiful. So those of you that came on later, because it's a story, you might want to start at the beginning and see the beginning of the story. Oh my God, Deanna, you're one of those. Oh my goodness, honey. Deanna writes me letters every now and then. She maintains our friendship. Oh, you made me cry. When she hasn't heard from me for years. Take precious care.